www.nisos.com. That's NISOS.com.
Excellent. Now, here's the tough question.
Yeah.
Do you know your booth number? Not everybody does. It's okay.
It's 3063.
All right. Excellent. Very good. Now, what do you guys do?
So we are the managed intelligence company, and what that translates to is we provide threat intelligence as a managed service.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So like most managed services companies, we combine all the people, process, and technology that you need to actually have, relevant and actionable information so you can better address threats.
Now, what kind of security problems can you help companies with? Managed security services, it's a big word in our industry, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a newer word in a way, right? Because people, I've been in the business a long time, but everything was in-house at the studios, all proprietary in-house. And of course, in security, we're reluctant to trust, even inter-industry.
Yep.
I'm not sure I want to give those guys my information. So let's define that and tell us what you can really help people with, because now there's too much information for one group to do it. Just can't do it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's interesting because the cybersecurity market has really embraced managed services.
They're all over it.
Oh, it started from, it started with firewalls and moved into endpoints with MDR. You see it with managed SIEMs. I mean, it's pretty broad. If you start looking at the market, depending on the technology, probably 30 to over 50% of those solutions are managed services.
That's right. Standard operating procedure.
But it's a new thing for threat intelligence.
Yep.
I mean, we're one of the first companies to really do it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it's interesting because of all the challenges the companies face. Threat intelligence is arguably one of the most complex and most difficult.
Yep.
So like I said, we combine the technology, and when I say technology, I mean all of those data feeds that you need, all of those collection tools that you need.
Right.
Dozens literally, where most companies would only have maybe one or two.
Right.
Right. And then we combine that with the people, and the people are almost always the most difficult element because you need real expertise, and we all know there's a global talent shortage when it comes to cybersecurity.
Well, everywhere. I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, far more jobs than there are people to fill them, and it's been that way for a while, and it's just getting worse.
Right.
So the people are unique. To do intelligence right, you really have to have that adversarial mindset.
You do.
Because it's, okay, traditional solutions can gather all the data, they can to do some analysis and correlation, but that's okay if it's a known threat, it's a known threat actor group, but if you're talking about new threats and you don't know where they're coming from, it's that adversarial mindset that allows you threat actors and also you want to combat that stuff.
And Donald, when everybody made fun of him, there's the known knowns, the known knowns, and the really what threat intelligence is about is finding that unknown unknown.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. I've been in space a long time. I kind of started Disney's threat intelligence service. We didn't really have one. We didn't call it that. But I got up every morning, read all this input from around the world, and found out one day, there's doing scuba diving lessons in Florida.
Yeah.
Turned out they
right? Sure.
A whole bunch of mini train bombings in little countries.
Yeah.
2 months later, London bombing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can find this stuff, practice and looking, right? Yeah. So that was, I'm not going to say easier than today.
Yeah.
A threat today is what? Some guy lying on your sidewalk. Yeah. Maybe he just dropped dead from some Andromeda strain.
Yeah.
We have to redefine threats, and how do we do that? Ones, terrorism, blah, 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 but COVID's a threat. Too many people one place is a threat. Mounting tension's a threat. It's different.
Yeah, it is different. And I didn't answer your question directly on the last one. I just realized we were talking about what problems we can solve. That because, like you said, intelligence can cover so many different threats. So you've got your traditional cyber threats, which most companies focus on. Cyber threat intelligence, CT. We've got there's the traditional cyber intelligence. physical protection and whatnot. There's also another threat you need to address. There's platform intelligence, we call it, which addresses things like disinformation and misinformation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of a newer one.
It is a newer one. And there's also, third party, there's vendor risk that you can look at, but go beyond cyber to look at non-traditional. So do you have, we had one case where we're going through their cap table and we find people on it that are connected to organized crime, right? Or we find employees that had previously been accused of stealing IP, right? Things like that. And then we also do some work with companies on mergers and acquisitions so that they can start the process earlier with open source investigation before they even make an offer and understand what the potential risks are as they go into negotiations. So a broad range.
Right.
Now getting back to your last question, you talked about known knowns and known unknowns. A lot of companies go out there, usually the very large and mature companies, and try to do it themselves. Right?
Do they still? Really?
They do, but we're talking big companies.
But Thom, if you're making widgets, that's not your discipline. You're good at making widgets. Stick with it.
I know.
It's weird.
I know. Well, every company is unique, and I think part of it was driven by the fact that traditional CTI companies were basically selling data feeds.
That's right. That was how it started. Right.
And if you're selling
which was useful, but overwhelming.
Right. And they took a model like a magazine or a newspaper publisher would. Right. What's their goal? To sell and appeals to the market as a whole. And you need to pull out the stuff that's relevant to you. Then you need to do all the analysis. So what we do is we combine a lot of different data feeds and tools. We're client specific, and then we're analyst led. So we do all that analysis to just give you real intelligence, which is timely, relevant, and actionable by definition.
Now there's two words you hear in this business. Well, I don't think are interchangeable. When does a risk become a threat? When it's actionable?
Yeah, when it's timely, relevant, and actionable, I think.
Okay, all right.
Because you need to know, they're talking about the surface web. It could go of this, right? Maybe. Is this just somebody who is mad because he got a bad product? Criminal record who lives 3.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mr. Thom, good to meet you, buddy.
Good to meet you.
Give us your website one more time.
www.nisos.com. NISOS.
Excellent. Back in a minute here at GSX 2022, Atlanta, Georgia. Chuck Harold and Security Guide TV.
Thanks, Chuck.
Good interview.
Oh,
let's do the COVID bump.
There we go. Cool. All right. Thanks, Phil.
All right.